What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I want to break down what's happening with the overall economy thus far as we have big data and earnings coming out for next week, what you should be watching for as an investor and day trader. But before I break it down, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500 into the account, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks. Anyways, now let's talk about what's going on with the markets. SPY had a very interesting day. We were expecting a push yesterday for SPY to go even higher, and we reached our target of 510. We basically tagged it. Then we saw this thing reverse and try to like consolidate. It was trading sideways for many, many hours. I was actually hoping this thing would try to rebound a little bit. We ended up failing at our critical EMA, and SPY ended up coming down before it started to drop a little bit more during the after hours. So SPY ended up seeing some very, very interesting volatility. It ended up coming down quite a bit. And the question is, what's going to happen from here? Are we about to see a crash? Is it about to be a small pullback? I'm going to give you guys my opinion in just a couple of minutes. But I want to warn everyone about something very important. Next week is going to be pretty big. So the data is going to be, I would say, a little bit minor for Monday, but then starting Tuesday through Friday, every single day we have big data coming out, and this is going to affect the market big time. Let me give you guys a quick overview of this before I break down one more thing and then talk about the charts. So for Monday, we have new home sales coming out and the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index as well. I'll be watching these very, very carefully. They could affect the market to some extent, but I'm not expecting it to be too crazy. Then for Tuesday, this is when things become more serious because we have housing data, a bunch of Fed speakers. Then we have a lot of manufacturing numbers coming out. The Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index, manufacturing shipments, and the Dallas Fed services all coming out. This is going to be important for these different sectors in the economy. So watch and see how this affects us alongside consumer confidence. So quite a bit of data is coming out on Tuesday. Lots of consumer confidence data and manufacturing numbers. For Wednesday, we also have GDP numbers coming out. That's going to be very important. So the GDP growth rate quarter over quarter is going to be pretty huge. The reason this is huge is because it's going to give us a gauge about how the economy is looking. Is the economy going to be contracting? Are we about to see different estimates? So the estimates are going to be coming out. And if we get bad numbers, if it's below expectations, that could be a little bit negative. It's going to show more signs of contraction, and we'll see if the US is getting closer to a recessionary environment or not. So you want to be very careful with all of this going on. We have GDP sales coming out and then PCE expectations. All this data will be very important for the morning on Wednesday. For Thursday, we have some more important data. We have the PCE inflationary data report coming out. Now, this is going to be, excuse me, guys, I apologize. This is going to be very important because PCE is similar to CPI. We basically have CPI coming out on Thursday, except it's a different measure used by the Fed. This is going to be very important. It's very similar to CPI and these other big, market moving events. So if PCE is kind of hot, the market could pull back. If it's decent, the market could still run more. So we'll be watching for that on Thursday. That's going to be another big piece of data. We have Chicago PMI also coming out, and then lots of Fed speakers giving their speeches. And then finally, for Friday, it's another big day since we have the PMI report coming out, more manufacturing numbers, the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report, not to mention inflationary expectations amongst retail. Then we just have a bunch of Fed speakers for the rest of the day. So lots of big data is coming out, guys, especially from Tuesday through Friday. So watch for all of that very carefully. Monday is going to start off on, I would say, like a small note, nothing too crazy. I'll be going over everything with you guys through the hours, through the days. So I'll be with you through everything and watch and see how this affects the markets. For earnings, I want to call out something very important. So Monday is not going to be as data heavy, but we do have something big that's going to affect the markets. That's going to be Berkshire Hathaway's earnings. Remember the Warren Buffett company? They're very important for investments being made to the US, and they're oftentimes used as a good measure to see how the market's performing. So Berkshire Hathaway could affect the entire market on Monday. It could move us to some extent. I'm not saying it's as impactful as something as like Nvda, but I do believe it's going to move things. So watch for that carefully. If they do very poorly for earnings, things could drop. If we gap down on SPY, then they announce good earnings. This could help SPY start to run if this starts running as well. So don't count out the possibility of the market running again. Berkshire could contribute to that. Then after that, don't forget we have like Domino's, Unity, Zoom, and just a couple of others. For Tuesday, We have lots of retail. We have AutoZone. We have Lending Tree. We have Lowe's all announcing their earnings. After the market closes, we have just a few others like First Solar and Beyond. For Wednesday, we have TJ Maxx. We have just a few others out there, nothing too insane. Then we have like Salesforce and AMC announcing earnings alongside AI. After the market closes Wednesday, I'll be talking about these for retail. I know retail like Snow, CRM is popular amongst retail traders. Mara, Marathon, Mara. I call it Mara because of the ticker. It's fun to trade too. And we also have AMC. And for Thursday, we have Celsius, just a very, very minor ones, except for Dell later on. So Best Buy in the morning, then Dell after the market closes. So we'll be watching this as well. Fisker is known for their cars. We'll watch that as well and see how things go. And then finally, we have Friday when we have like Fubo TV. And we just have a couple of others, very minor ones. So the biggest earnings for the week are going to be Thursday when we have like Dell, and then we also have on Monday Berkshire Hathaway, which is going to be a big one. Can't wait to see what that causes. I think the best day for retail are going to be like Wednesday when we have like all these fun tickers that people like to play, not to mention AMC announcing earnings. So that's pretty much it, at least for the time being, in terms of some big stuff coming out for the markets. Is the market about to crash or are we about to squeeze? The answer is, guys, I think the market's going to pull back a little bit more, at least technically speaking. I think SPY might come down a little lower, retest 506 to 505, possibly during the pre market. Then we're going to see a big reaction to Berkshire Hathaway's earnings. We could drop a little bit, then bounce off 505 and continue pushing. Do not turn too bearish just yet. Wait and see, because now we're showing signs of this thing trying to come down a little bit. But where's the confirmation of this reversal? Because what you want to be watching for is check this out. To turn bearish, you want to see this high established, make a lower high like this, and then turn lower. That's how you change the trend. We don't have the data yet to determine this. For all we know, it's still possible it does something like this where it comes down a little lower, and then it just breaks out higher, and we're still on an overall uptrend, right? It's still possible. So that's why you just have to wait and see. I can't determine if this is a squeeze or a big pullback. I do think we're going to pull back a little bit more. I do see that potentially coming, but there might be a bounce close to 505. So we'll just have to wait and see if we get it, and then wait for Berkshire Hathaway's earnings. For the QQQ, now we do have this gap support at 434. We're going to be watching to see how well that holds. And we'll see how things look after that. But I just want to call out that for the triple Q and beyond, we're going to be watching our very, very critical levels. We'll be watching our critical supports and such just to see how well this could hold up. So watch 434 just to see how well it does, and then watch and see what happens after that. I think it's going to retrace a little bit more, but we'll see if we get a bounce or not. We also have this pre-market gap below, so it could drop a little lower. But just to be safe, I like to just wait and see. For Tesla, we have Tesla right about here. Let me just say that Tesla, in my opinion, looking a little bit weak. I do see it coming down towards the low 190 area, then about 188. So it's looking a little bit weak. It's not Tesla's fault. We just had all this bad news, guys. There's this news coming out about, the recall for Tesla, Tesla declining sales, bad ratings. All this bad news keeps coming out. That's why Tesla has been underperforming. So it is what it is. We're in this zone where it likes to bounce, but it's looking kind of weak. I could see it decline a bit. So watch for that as well. I'm just going to go over a couple of others before I end the video, guys. It is a Friday, so I'm not going to be talking for too long. For Nvda, we did close below 800, which is a sign of weakness. It could rebound a bit and then come back down. I think it's going to be testing 775, and we'll see if it bounces or not. So I could see it drop a little bit more, but then we'll see if it bounces. So this is going to dictate the way the QQQ moves. And then last but not least, the last one I'm going to talk about is Aapl before I conclude this video. Apple stock, in my opinion, is in another critical place. We ended up losing, or we're actually just barely below 182.5. So you could argue that Apple could be attempting to form an inverse head and shoulders with our left shoulder here and the right shoulder forming, but that implies it's going to decline to at least 181.36. If it's not a right shoulder, if this is not a left shoulder and a right shoulder forming, it could even fall all the way down to 180. So we'll see if it's 181.36 or 180. One of those levels should be where it tries to bounce, or at least see support and some buyers defend it. But I do see it declining a little bit more, which could drag the market down lower. I just want to give you guys a warning about that. I'll be talking more about these charts later on. So that being said, thank you all for listening. Have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.